For any artist that's going to record an album of good, high quality, there's so many things to be considered and I suppose thought about in the process. Just walking along in Holt here, you know, and this place is only a stone throw from McNeela Musical Instruments, and just to get out here and get a bit of space, I suppose, a bit of quietness, it's so important. I suppose especially when you're working on a musical project like this. I suppose one of the very first things you have to stand back and have a look at is what are you trying to achieve by recording the album? What kind of music are you trying to record? And in what manner? Is it to be very laid back maybe? Is it to be possibly more dynamic kind of music? Will there be many musicians involved? How full do you want the album to be? Or do you want it cut right back to maybe just one or two musicians? We did discuss at the start just doing a whistle album. But you know, to really show off any musical instrument, I think, it's very important to see how it blends with other musical instruments, how it works with other musical instruments, how it can be involved in duets with musical instruments, how it reacts to the accompaniment of other musicians and other musical instruments. And I think to really perform it well and to perform well on the making of any commercial album, it needs to be a very full project. Yeah, so this is the town of Athy where I was born and reared, and yeah, so we'll head up towards Woodstock Street, and Woodstock Street is the house where I was born and reared on Woodstock Street, and my mum is up there this morning, so yeah, so we'll call up and have a chat with her and see what her memories are maybe of my youth when I was younger, growing up playing music in the house, and yeah, I suppose see what she can remember of that or what her memories are, but she's in great form, and we'll have a chat with her and see what she says.
The teacher said to you one day, you were looking out to the window, and she said, Brian, and what are you doing? Whatever you were doing, you weren't doing your lessons anyway. And you said, I'm thinking of a tune, miss. And she said, I'll give you a tune.
Well, that was honest, wasn't it?
She told me herself about it.
Yeah.
Be in the front room there doing your lessons, and the next thing you'd hear music, and the books would be put aside. I'd say, Brian, do your exercise. And then you'd say, yes, I'm doing it now. Next thing, this whistle would be going. And everything in school you were playing at, all the Christmas concerts, you'd be playing. Actually, Mary McKenna was talking to me about it the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she said, and you played at their wedding, John McKenna's wedding. They'd always have the whistle. God, he was so young, Brian. What age were you? I think he was only about 4. When you started to school, Brian, you were only about 4.
In senior infants or whatever they call it.
Junior infants. Babies, we used to call it.
Aye.
And you were only 4 then, Brian, when you started to school. And it was then that the teacher started just to play a little bit on the whistle, introduced us to the whistle. As I said, she was the sister to one of the Wolf Tones.
Yeah.
And she took to it like that.
Yeah.
And you see, James had you on the mouth organ.
Yeah, yeah. And James used to be in playing the fiddle and stuff.
And he'd be playing the fiddle. You'd be playing a bit in the mouth organ, Silent Night and all the Christmas songs.
Yeah.
And then James would be trying to look into your mouth.
See what you were doing.
How were you playing it? Just be mad here when I think of it.
Yeah.
Oh, he always was into the music.
Yeah, it was always traditional music.
Yeah, always traditional. Oh yeah, funny enough, Brian.
Yeah.
It was always traditional music.
Yeah, totally immersed.
Yeah, completely.
Totally immersed.
And you were listening to Clannad and all those bands when you were only very young, Brian.
Yeah, and Moving Hearts and
Moving Hearts. I remember going
Bothy
to...
Band and Planksty.
Yeah, I remember going to Dublin, bringing it to Dublin to see those bands Even I brought you.
Yeah.
And your whole reaction was unbelievable.
To that music, yeah.
To that music.
Yeah.
And then we went down to the school to see...
Stockton's Wing.
Stockton's Wing.
Yeah. Way, that was in the 70s.
Yeah. And Mrs. Brown, she was a woman, and she told me, she said she didn't see the band. She said she was looking at you all night.
Yeah.
The way you were acting and behaving and enjoying the music.
Yeah, yeah. Such a young fella then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Ringo McDonough and the Bowens, fantastic player. It's brilliant. So yeah, hugely inspired, as all whistle players would have been, by that recording from Mary Bergen. I'm really looking forward to throwing that tune on the album because it's a tune I've listened to for so many years. I remember trying to learn it as a young child. Always loved that minor feel in reels. So yeah, that's certainly one we'll be looking at for the album, and hopefully it'll go down in a nice set. I'm very confident with the set that we're hoping to throw it into. So yeah, fingers crossed. That'll work really well.
My father was musical, and my mother's brother James was musical.
Yeah.
He was brilliant on the fiddle.
But
Brian took to the music at a very early age. He was only tiny, and we were going down to the local store to see what Santa might bring him for Christmas, and all he wanted was a guitar. Yeah, and I think that little guitar is up in your house, Brian.
Is it? Yeah.
Now maybe it's not, but I think I brought it up there and left it just as a momentum kind of. And I'll tell you, Mary Bergen, the whistle player, she had a great influence on me.
Yeah, yeah.
They loved her music.
Yeah, as a kid, then again, her album in the late 70s, I remember trying to learn the tunes off.
Yeah, and you did.
Yeah, bit by bit.
You picked them up.
Yeah.
And then we had a neighbour up the road, Kevin.
Yeah.
And he'd be out doing the garden, digging the garden and sowing potatoes.
Yeah, he had loads of tunes and stuff.
And Kevin would be whistling, he was a great whistler.
Yeah.
And Brian would be listening to him, and Brian would get over the wall, and he'd say, Kevin, play that for me again.
Whistle it for me.
Whistle it for me again, and Kevin would whistle it. Then Brian would come in and pick it up in the whistle.
The learning early, like
yeah.
That, yeah. I remember that, and he'd whistle tunes and I tried to learn them on the whistle. And
that's right, and like that you'd have.
Or Christy would lilt tunes and I tried to learn.
Right, yeah.
And that's the way it was back
and that's
then.
and that's traditional music, Brian.
Yeah.
That's passed on.
Yeah. With this album, I didn't kind of run away from well-known tunes. I actually
embraced
well-known tunes and took them forward. So a lot of those tunes, I would have memories of playing them when I was very young. Like a lot of them I was playing all my life. So obviously I would have memories of playing them for Christy and with Christy and and at home with my mum. I suppose that's traditional Irish music at its best, isn't it? Just being passed down from area to area, from generation to generation.
And the thing about it is, the way you played it in Woodstock Street could be entirely different, a different speed and a different key and the whole lot in St. Joseph's Terrace.
Absolutely, yeah. A different style, like whatever, yeah. I know it is amazing that way. That's the way it's living on, isn't it? Really, truly early, like I was only speaking to my ma about that this morning, where she remembered the way I used to learn through someone lilting the tune to me or whistling the tune to me. So it's totally a natural kind of a.
Well, this is funny when you were saying it there about what you're looking forward to, and the airs that it's funny because it's a wordless form of storytelling.
Yes.
Because it gets a level of sadness
Yeah, it does, yeah.
that, you know, that nothing else gets.
Oh, it's true. You're certainly painting a picture, or trying to.
Yeah.
That's 100%. You really are trying to paint a picture in music, aren't you? Like in the airs. And I suppose in all music, it really, Colm, you know, in any of the tunes you're painting a picture, and sometimes they coincide with the names, you know what I mean? It's amazing the way you can hear the tune and the name of the tune. And yeah, it's really interesting. But and we were just speaking earlier as well of the way other musicians coming in will put their stamp on the music.
Yeah.
And that can change the whole kind of feel of the music. And I love that in the studio. I love to hear what the other musicians bring to it with their style of music or whatever, you know. So I suppose you're going in with an open canvas. You have your arrangements, you have very generously constructed the tunes. But there's a huge landscape there for that to move as you're in the studio with what our musicians you use and what they bring to the project. So yeah, it's good. It's a nice time just waiting to go in and record like that. It's good, yeah.
So Brian has been very, very central to traditional Irish music in the town of Athy. He has been the main go-to person for everything traditional, from Kildare right through to, unfortunately, playing at the sending off of a lot of our good people in churches. Brian has learnt his music on the knee of his grandfather, great Christy Bracken, who had been a bagpiper back in his day. And it's that tradition that I think I can hear every time I hear Brian playing, that it's not music just learnt, it's music that has been inherited from the air and the river around Athy. I feel that that's what I hear when I hear Brian. I hear hundreds of years of tradition rather than just a traditional song.
So yeah, I mean, it's looking very like at this stage that we'll go down to Craig the Vagabond's studio again, Gary O'Brien's studio, just outside Kildare. It's such a lovely place. But so yeah, Gary will be involved. So I mean, Gary's musicianship alone will certainly be a huge part of the album. His piano playing, mandocello, guitar. So I hear lots of Gary's stuff on it. We've been discussing musicians, obviously, and different instruments. You know, I suppose you're definitely looking at percussion, stroke bower on, guitars playing. Yeah, as I say, the instruments, you know, that will add an awful lot to it, I feel, would be concertina, fiddle. Of course, I've recorded before with Dave Sheridan, and we recorded in the flat keys. So I think myself and Dave will certainly look at that again, tuning the fiddle down and playing some really nice sets. There's some of the sets that work beautifully on the fiddle, you know. I'm hearing in my ears over and over again where I feel fiddle and concertina and all the instruments may fit. So yeah, all the arrangements are starting to come together, and yeah, it's a really nice time, I suppose, just working out arrangements and stuff before you go into studio. This is the Barrow, the river here. It flows right into the town. We're just outside of Athy here. And this is the Hearse Bridge, known locally as the Hearse Bridge. And I remember we used to swim off this as kids. The big thing was you had to jump off the bridge and swim over. So we've all done that in Athy. Jumping off the bridge for hours there in the good weather and swimming around. So yeah, it's lovely to walk these areas again. I suppose when I'm working out musical stuff, it's lovely to walk on the waterways around Athy, and it can be inspirational too. Like, so it's lovely to have it here. You know, the music is very much on your mind constantly, I suppose. And for me, I wouldn't have practice sessions as such, or be very conscious of sitting down practicing. But you know, when all the material is collected and you're happy with the sets you're going to record, they're obviously on your mind quite a bit. And I suppose how to play the different tunes is, at that stage. Yeah, it can happen at home that you're just in the middle of a particular job, or maybe a conversation even, and something just crosses your mind about a particular set. And before you realise it, you're just gone out to the music room and you're just gone for hours again, you know. So I suppose it can be very difficult to live with, I'm sure. But I suppose just for that couple of months in particular, your mind can be in a very, very different place with the music, connecting with the sets, and I suppose trying to decide the variations to throw in, the amount of ornamentations to throw in, how you're going to approach the sets, the thoughts of the other musical instruments adding so much to them. And yeah, unfortunately, it can kind of take over a little bit and consume your thoughts at the most inappropriate times. Daddy, daddy. Do you like me rock, Phil?
It's good rock.
Yeah. So yeah, this area here is kind of where I would work on a lot of my music, learning tunes, composing tunes, arranging sets, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm lucky. It's a nice little dropout area that I can just come out to and kind of immerse myself in the music. So if I need to listen to a few CDs or listen to stuff off my phone, or you know, throw down maybe ideas on my phone when I'm out here working on stuff, I can kind of just come out here into the silence of this place and I suppose, yeah, think about the music as well as playing the music. And for the last couple of months, obviously, I've been working away on this project and yeah, just I suppose selecting the material and trying to put in place where exactly I wanted to bring this album and what we wanted to achieve in recording the album. And so yeah, a lot of the creative stuff that I would come up with would happen in this space out here. And you know, I suppose it's where you're comfortable working, and I must say I like this space and I like working here, and yeah, I've achieved some really nice stuff here. So yeah, this is where a lot of the work is done. A lot of the tunes are played here. Yeah, a set of slides here. So yeah, the slides, they're so, again, I love the rhythmic nature of the slides. And you know, I've a huge admiration for any of the music from the Sliabh Luach area, the polkas and the slides. And again, of course, I always love the polkas, and there'll be a couple of sets of polkas on the album. But I always try to play some slides and include them. Like, I just love playing them. And we don't play enough in this part of the country on the East Coast, we'll say. Just don't play enough slides. I just love the rhythmic, almost childish nature of them. So yeah, that's Charming Lovely Nancy is the name of that slide. So I've collected many, many slides when I was consciously kind of looking for material for this album. But yeah, these three I'm looking at the moment: Charming Lovely Nancy, Forget Your Troubles, which is a tune I learned from a fantastic Johnny O'Leary album, I think it was. And of course, Johnny O'Leary was a great player of all the Sliabh Luach tunes. I love his recordings and love all the musicians playing that would have been influenced by Johnny O'Leary. And then a great slide at the end is It the Priest You Want? It's worth putting on an album for the name alone, isn't it? But it's such a great lively piece. So it's, say, compared to Charming Lovely Nancy. So there's so much space in that, and the notes are not tight together and you don't feel that push. But playing at the very same BPM, if you want it, Is It the Priest You Want? Sounds like it sounds faster, it sounds more lively. So I think that might really work nicely for a set. So if we just started with something like Charming Lovely Nancy and then Forget Your Troubles, building up to Is It the Priest You Want, we could get a really lively kind of vibe going. I'll just play through them once each, so you'll hear the progression. straight away that minor vibe is pushing that one along. And then up into Is It the Priest You Want, really like so yeah, I'm really enjoying this set. And I've tried many different slides and working in different kind of sets and stuff, but this is the one I'm really kind of settling on at the moment. Charming, Lovely Nancy, Forget Your Troubles, and Is It the Priest You Want? I just love that last slide. It's so lovely. And you can hear the B-flat whistle carrying it really easily, like it's easily responsive enough for that piece. And again, I spoke about how earthy the A and the B-flat in particular are in this range. And yeah, it suits that lovely music from Slave Lucre. Yeah, so look, I'm very hopeful about this set making the running order when we get into the studio. It's lovely set of slides. And as I say, I always love the Slave Lucre music anyway. So it's great to be able to include polkas and slides on a whistle album. Yeah, for the enjoyment alone, they're such fun tunes to play, and often very, very simplistic tunes to play. I suppose it's just purely their rhythmic nature that makes them so attractive, I suppose, in music. So really looking forward to putting down this one, and hopefully it will make the final running order for the album. I love to have a few slides on. So yeah, I'll just keep experimenting with this set and see where we go with it. But yeah, for the moment, it's Charming, Lovely Nancy set. After all the gathering of tunes and working out the sets and beginning to speak about arrangements and stuff, it's just, the music is just at that stage now where it really is, it's ready, The music is ready to be recorded, and yeah, we feel ready to go into the studio and confident about, I suppose, the foundation that's there with the sets that we've put together. So yeah, we're certainly ready to go in and record it, and really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to seeing what materialises over the couple of weeks in studio. So it's an exciting time, really. Yeah, it's good. It's our first morning here, so we're just setting up some mics. We're going to do some sound checks to start off, and then hopefully within the next couple of hours we'll be putting down some of the tracks for the brand new album. Is that whistle sounding okay for you guys?